Hey, Courtesy Flush, welcome back. This Saturday. I'm already in Saturday. I was just reading a thing about Saturday, and I was like, oh boy.
Oh boy, Saturday.
Oh boy, Saturday. Nick, how you doing? Oh, hold on. Say it again. Oh, wait. You know what? Now try saying something.
Something.
Okay. So what were you saying?
I don't know. I was doing okay.
Doing okay.
And I think I will get to work in the shade tomorrow, which is going to be
supposed to be like 105. So enjoy that. Not at all. I'm sorry. And we also have Biddy or John in the background, the legendary Biddy 7. I don't think actually. You know what? He may have just like went like he's fucking left. Oh no, he turned his microphone. Oh, there he is. He turned his microphone. Hold on. I'll see if I can turn him up a bit, because I think I have him turned down. Hold on. Sec again?
I had to mute the stream because I was like, okay, they're starting now.
No, I was going to like say you could join us on in the stream tonight. Jameer is not here. I don't know what's up. I sent him a text earlier, so we'll just do what we can, which should be okay. But it's good to hear from you, John.
Yeah, good to be here.
So, Michael, John, would you be okay with like just role playing a bit with us?
Sure.
So, Mike, can you give John something to do in this adventure we're about to have in town, like at some random point?
Well, yeah, I suppose I could.
Does that throw a monkey wrench at you at all?
It's well, what we can do is, John, do you have a character in mind?
I was thinking about that one that you and I talked about you with at Sheets.
Now, what was the defining characteristic of that character?
The character was a elven noble that was so selfish and vain that he came across a sorceress that turned him into a dwarf, and he has to remain a dwarf for the rest of his life.
Wow, that's right.
And you and I were saying something along the lines like, since he is actually elven and he's now a dwarf, he doesn't speak a lick of dwarf, so anytime he runs across any other dwarves, he can't actually communicate to them because he doesn't know how to speak dwarf.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's, so... What do you think are, you know what, okay, here's what we'll roll with. You, as that character, have shown up in Phandalin, because you know its history for being, very magical, but also very, very near and dear to dwarves. And so you have an assumption that if you go to this town, you might be, because you've been trying a lot of different things, and now you're just trying, like, taking steps and stuff. So you come to Phandalin, and you arrive at the...
No, sorry. Can you switch over to the...
Oh, to the stream?
Yeah, so we can see you.
To the
Because it's just me and Nick just sitting here.
Yep.
You don't need to see our Grand Overlord, do we?
Yeah. Oh, you see it.
Oh, nice. It's in the map now.
We'll pretend, yeah, that you arrive at this town at the same time as our adventurers, and that you are in... That's what drives your character, is to seek to return to his original form. And because you know, just from history, that Phandalin was magical and that it was key to the dwarves at one point in time, you figure you might as well go and search, and try and find something. And so that is your reason for being here. How do you think you get there earlier than them, later than them? Where do you think you locate yourself when you arrive?
I think I would arrive later.
Later. Okay. So we'll go with that. All right. Last time on our adventure, we had just cleared out a Kragma hideout of all the goblins. We had saved Sildor Hallwinter, also known as Barry Blue Jeans, because that's a much more fun name. What you had planned to do is take a long rest in the hideout, having cleared it out of all enemies, recover some health, stabilize Mass Mage, and head out to Phandalin, because there are multiple things that wanted to get you there. Sildar wanted to return to Phandalin. He also promised you gold in exchange. Crow, you knew that taking the provisions that were labeled with the Lion Shield Coster mark would probably net you a reward. You knew that probably Gundren, along with Sildar's Barry's gear, his armor and his weapons and things, probably taken to Cragmaw Castle. But before you head out there, you just want to get a feeling for the town. You want to regroup, maybe do a little bit of shopping, but basically secure your foothold in here, because you've been traveling for a few days, and it's about time that you rest in a bed and get your food together and figure things out. So you head off to Phandalin, and as soon as you arrive, the rutted track emerges from a wooded hillside, and you catch your first glimpse of Phandalin. The town consists of 40 or 50 simple log buildings, some built on old fieldstone foundations. More old ruins, crumbling stone walls covered in ivy and briars, surround the newer houses and shops, showing how this must have been a much larger town in centuries past. Most of the newer buildings are set on the sides of the cart track, which widens into a muddy main street of sorts as it climbs toward a ruined manor house on a hillside at the east side of town. As you approach, you see children playing on the town green and townsfolk tending to chores or running errands at shops. Many people look up as you approach, but all return to their business as you go by. Let's say it's about 6:30, maybe even 7 o'clock. The sun is fairly low in the sky. You don't have much time left in the day. Barry says to you, as soon as you arrive at Phandalin, he looks much at ease. He's very anxious and nervous to get back to Phandalin so they can keep doing the work that he'd been doing, but he visibly relaxes, and he says to you, "My friends, let us secure lodgings. I'm told the local inn is very quaint." That's what he says to you. As that happens, Mass collapses. He had been holding it together fairly well for your journey, but arriving at Phandalin and still recovering from his severe wound, can't stand any longer, and so he falls to the ground. Barry, having relaxed for a second, almost looks guilty and stiffens up again and picks Mass up and carries him. And says he needs to be looked at. I'll make sure that he gets to the inn. Do you want to? We should all go together so that we can secure lodgings and everything. But do you want to come with me?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Okay.
Of course, we'd want to go.
So. Where is the inn? Sleeping Giant. Stonehill Inn. Is everything not alphabetical order? What the fuck? Oh, there it is. In the center of town stands a large, newly built roadhouse of fieldstone and rough-hewn timbers. The common room, when you enter the inn, is filled with locals nursing mugs of ale or cider, all of them eyeing you with curiosity. Phandalin's fairly new development. There's some idea of restoring the mines. They know that there's gold and platinum in them hills. But it's still very young. In fact, you can walk from one side of the town to the other in a couple of minutes. But this inn, it's modest. It operates more like a pub than an actual inn, but there are rooms. And Sildar, he goes up to the innkeeper and chats with him for a little while, hands off Mass to the innkeeper, and the innkeeper takes Mass to a room up the stairs and to be taken care of. Sildar also comes back to you with a small smile and hands you a pouch of gold, the 50 pieces that he promised you for escorting him back to Phandalin. He secured a loan from the innkeeper. He also took care of securing your rooms, your lodgings. There are several rooms at the inn. There was one for there's 6 of them. So there was the one that he had. There's also the one for Mass, and then there are 3 more. Luckily, there's one on the ground floor for Olivius, and plenty of.
Not bad.
You want to do me a favor? You want to bring your mic closer? So, yeah, you just pointed at your face. That's good.
The innkeeper, he comes in, and Olivius, he looks you up and down, and he says, "My name's Tobin Stonehill. It's a pleasure to see you adventurers coming in and giving us your patronage. Barry has vouched for you, and that's good enough for me. Olivius, is that right, your name?"
Yes, that is correct, Mr. Stonehill.
I'll do my very best to accommodate you, but you must understand it is a very rare thing for me to have a half-breed of your nature in my establishment. We do have a room on the ground floor. You might find the bed cramped, to be sure. Can I get you anything? Anything that would assist you in your nightly rests?
If you have any straw, I would appreciate a bale or 2 of straw.
1 bale or 2?
I will take 2 bales.
You see his comment?
No.
You should pull up his comments on your phone so you can see. Or no, on you have your laptop. You can just pull it up there.
Is it Discord or Twitch?
It's Twitch.
It's Twitch? Okay.
Wait, is he a racist? Oh my god. That's awesome.
But he does that easily enough. There's a small stable attached to the inn where there's ample hay, as any good stable might have, and he comes in with
The dice tower.
the dice tower. Oh, that's in my room. We probably won't need it though.
Oh,
I don't know how much rolling we're going to be doing, but we'll find. If we need to, I can go get it.
I gotta. We have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right.
So
Missed the whole spiel. Well, we just got back from town. Got back from the cave. Jermaine's character, Mass Mage, is mortally wounded, and which he's not here tonight, so kind of makes sense that he needs to rest anyway. He got a sword stabbed straight through his chest. He did survive, but he's a little weakened from it. And now we're in Phandalin, and we're in an inn right now. And the innkeeper apparently is a southern dude who he's just casually racist toward Nick for some reason, but it's all right.
Isn't he being okay?
No, he's being normal. No, don't back out. That's a good character. I'm just saying, like I'm throwing out there to be. I'm being
casually racist towards a obviously different being in his like he's a half horse, half person in a normal person's room.
You know what I see? I don't see a half horse, half person. I see a person.
Okay, a person with half a horse body. He's being accommodating.
You see that?
A nationalist. Isn't he being accommodating? Do you Nick, do you feel like you're being oppressed?
I see no good way for me to answer this question. I'm just taking it as my character is used to not all spaces are designed to accommodate somebody of his stature.
Yeah.
And so he has to sometimes be understanding of that fact and just kind of deal with it. And if anybody cares to complain too loudly, then he can, you know, kick him in the
Sure.
butt.
Also, I wanted to say thanks for the courtesy, Commander Root. Appreciate it.
But yeah, the innkeeper, Tolbrin, what's his name? Toblin Stonehill, Mr. Stonehill. He runs out and grabs 2 bales of hay from the
Strong
from the
man.
stable, and brings them right into your
You
room.
ever carried a bale of hay before?
I have. They're very heavy.
Very heavy.
This man is fairly strong because, as its main function of being a tavern, it also has a system of pumps. Wooden kegs of ale are kept underground to keep them somewhat colder than the above ground temperature, and they can be pumped, but they have to be directly pumped up and down. That's why barmaids have very beefy arms and can carry many things. And this man is no different. He is strong of arm and leg from the strenuous work of running his tavern.
All right.
He comes right in and he puts those bales of hay right in the middle of the room and says, "Now, you don't make as much a mess as I might imagine, but we have an outhouse. Perhaps I should hang a sheet or some sort so that you don't be popping out of there."
I'm sure I can manage.
Mr. Stonehill, you have been nothing but accommodating, and might I add, you are quite the strong man. If I would say, I would rather face a bugbear than someone like you who has such strength.
A bugbear?
Of course.
Well, what are them?
Oh, well, there are these really terribly strong, nasty creatures that could rip a man in 2, but you look like you can rip 3 men in 3. I don't do math very well.
Starts going on at the end of it. He's like, I can't breathe.
He blushes a little bit and he scratches the back of his head. He's like, go on. But you have your rooms now. Sildar, after giving you the gold, excuses himself promptly. Says,
and I count it in front of him. And then I smile and shake his hand. I have been in mining towns before.
He's excused himself. He's like, I must rest. I must get to work promptly. I shall see you around. Come to me if you run into any problems. I will be at your service. Until then, you have your mission and I have mine.
Well, where could we find you?
I am in the room next door to you.
All right. Well, I mean, I didn't know where he was going. I didn't know if he was like, I have a house, or I don't know.
No, he's secured a room at the inn.
Yep. All right then.
Okay. So you still have a little bit of daylight left. You're secured at the inn. You still have some errands that you might need to finish up. First of all, the whole adventuring hook in the first place being that you were taking that cart of provisions to Barthen's.
My character sheet.
Also, that cart has been overloaded with the provisions that belonging to the Lion Shield costers, who I'm sure would love to see those returned to them. And you still need to get some of your valuables appraised. I'm not sure if there's particularly any great places to do that, but you did receive, you found a bag off of Yemek's body that had 3 gold teeth, still just a little bit bloody, and 15 silver pieces in it. You think each gold tooth was probably worth 1 gold piece each. They're about the same mass. But you may want to trade them in to somebody who would know what to do with raw gold, might be able to melt them down and make them a little bit more presentable, or would just trade you for the opportunity to do so. And you also have the Jade Frog, which you might seem to have appraised and sell for currency. So what would you like to do?
I suggest that we drop off the liberated loot first, since at keeping use of the wagon, and then we can turn over the wagon of supplies to, I forget who we're supposed to be giving that to, but whoever we're supposed to be giving that to.
Mr. Stonehill, Mr. Stonehill, can I speak to you, please?
Yes.
We are looking for someone within town that does appraisals of types. Do you know anybody like that?
Well, let me search the old noggin here.
He's totally not reading the book right now. It's alright.
Well,
Oh, nice. Oh, I see you did update my sheet. Thanks.
think of that. There is a trading post or a miners exchange, as people have said before. Let's see here. It's well, he hands you a one of the prepared maps. In its downtime, he thinks himself a cartographer of sorts, and it's not much more than a couple of squares on a page, but it is a crude rendering of the town with labels of the important points, and you can see the roads and the things labeled, and you can see that the Miners Exchange is pretty much just down the street south of Stonehill Inn. He points that out, and you see is there ain't much there particular, but you might be able to find somebody who will wheel and deal, so to say.
All right, much appreciated, Mr. Stonehill. Shall we go, Olivius, and find us an appraisal?
Well, do you think that those appraiser would still be operating at this close to the night, or should we try to return our supplies that we have carried through our adventure and also liberated from Magmal Cavern?
And just a suggestion, you could split up. There's no reason you have to stay together. It is a town; it's fairly safe.
I want to stick with Olivia.
Okay.
I gotta show the boy. The rope says it is how to speak to people. You're still so young, a very powerful mage, but yet still so much to learn about dealing with people in the streets. This is where I've learned. See, my father was a man who really did understood how to speak to people. As a matter of fact, they called him the Orator of Blackwood. Nobody remember this?
Not much competition in Blackwood.
I see that your wit does not fail you. But I will allow this to pass, for it was a good joke. All right, then. We'll take your suggestion, Olivius, and let's return these goods. However, I do doubt your perception that they would not be awake at this hour, for gold never rests.
Fair enough.
All right, then. We go to return the supplies to the people that you mentioned that I forgot their names, and I'm sorry.
You have the Lion Shield Costers.
Lion Shield Costers.
And you also have Barthen's Provisions. So you walk out the door of the Stonehill Inn. You had your cart. Your strong oxen are slowly munching on some hay from the aforementioned stable. That's where they will be resting. But you still have them hitched up in your haste to get mass to a bed.
How many do we have, oxen?
Like 2.
Oh, what are the names, Olivia's?
Babe.
Babe.
And...
Say it. Starts with a B.
It's Blue.
Blue.
Okay. Yeah.
Babe and Blue.
All right then, Babe and Blue. See, like the gods were suggesting it, and it came forth. So Babe and Blue are resting.
Babe, well, they're not resting yet.
Well, they're chilling out.
They're chilling out.
It's a nice cool night in Phandalin.
So you
I hope so anyway.
You take the cart, and you can see down the road from where you are. It doesn't even see there is a sign hanging above the front door of this modest trading post, but it's shaped like a wooden shield, and a very large blue lion is painted on it. And so just seeing that, you got a good idea. Seeing as it's the same symbol painted on all of the provisions that you have acquired, you figure, maybe that's where we should go. And the map agrees. So you head over, and let's see here. So, what do you do when you arrive?
Well, of course, I knock on the door.
Okay.
I don't want to like through the door and everyone just like stares at me. Like Kuzco from Emperor's New Groove, just kick a door
I
down.
was thinking, Shrek, like
Shrek, yeah.
He opened it up the door. It's like somebody.
A woman comes to the door, throws the door open, and looks to you and says, "Oi! What's all this?"
Well, madam, we are actually a couple of adventurers. There were 3 of us, but the other one, unfortunately, has a grave injury. But
Oi!
these are not
We
things...
don't do credit.
Don't worry about credit, for I have something much better than credit. Tell me, were you missing any supplies?
We've been haggard by those goblins for so long. You don't know anything about that, do you?
Oh, trust me. Not only have we fixed your supply problem, but we have also taken care of the pests in the cave.
Oh, have you now?
Yeah, and not only that, but we have them here with us.
And what do you gesture to the cart, or?
Yeah, I just kind of like, I'm like, it's over here behind Olivius, who was
Olivius
like just
moves
sort
out
of
of the way.
he was like he was kind of pulling it along.
We've pulled the cart up so its rear is right next to the door to the.
And I undo the like tarp, and I'm like, were you looking for these?
Oh, dearie. You damn near saved us, I say.
Oh,
Come in, why don't you? Have a drink.
absolutely. Olivia, do you mind if my ward comes with me?
Absolutely.
He is a wonderful mage. Come on.
Come here. And she like reaches up and pinches your cheeks a little bit. It's like, such a handsome boy. Come in, the both of you.
It's not the first time that's happened to him. He's quite used to it at this point.
So she.
What's to drink then?
Oh, not much more than ale, I say, but 2 big mugs for both of you.
I appreciate it. I would say 3, but unfortunately we're going to have to pour one on the ground for our friend. He's not dead, we're just... He would appreciate it.
To him, then. She takes one of the mugs and pours it
Look,
out.
my good lady, I was only kidding. My
Take a look at the ground. It's filthy. I don't give a flying flip. Sit down, the both of you.
All
Lay
right.
down. In your case, large one.
Your case large one.
Would you happen to I don't mean to already to break the celebrations, but we do have quite pressing business to get to, and we were wondering if there was any type of stipend for returning these wonderful.
Naturally. She rummages around in behind in a little shelving unit and pulls out a pouch, and then goes into a back room and returns very quickly, and hands you over, smiling, a pouch of 50 clanking little gold pieces, she said, "Go ahead, count it if you need to. It's a standard stipend for returning stolen goods, especially how much you've returned to us." Did you get all of it then?
Oh yeah, we've gotten all of it. If you need to check it yourself, as I am checking this gold, Go right ahead. It's just an old thing that my father was quite the accountant, you see. He made me count gold all the time. And this was something that I constantly had to do. Actually, he was the main accountant for Blackwood. And don't you dare go for the low-hanging fruit there, Olivius.
Halfway through
help
your...
it if I like apples.
That's a good one.
Halfway through your spiel, she even stopped paying attention. She clicks her fingers to two of the men sitting in the corner playing cards and points them towards the supplies in your cart. They start hauling them out fairly quickly because, again, everybody here is strong in arm and leg. While you do that, I suppose you sip on your ales.
I'd like to ask exactly what exactly does your organization do?
Yeah, this is a merchant company. Don't you know we're based in the city of Yondir? Yartar. I have a hard time with ours, dearie.
It's alright.
It's a merchant company based in the city of Yartar. It's over 100 miles east. They ship finished goods to Fandolin and other Somerset throughout the region. This outpost, it's been hit hard by banditry, which is, I've heard tales of a frightening goblin standing 4 feet tall, frighteningly tall for a goblin. It had some weird adornments. Went by Yimik the Tall, I believe.
Oh, you mean Yimik the Dead at this point?
You took out Yimik.
With the help of Mass Mage and Olivius's great magical powers, I was but a mere pawn in helping them be able to vanquish this foe. So much congratulations to my comrades are definitely in order.
Oh, but Crow, you don't give
Olivius,
yourself
now is not
credit.
the time to try to give me credit, for it is not worthy nor is it due. Accept your credit. You deserve it.
You wouldn't have happened to found anything on them, did you?
I forgot what we found.
You found a small pouch that had 3 gold teeth, still bloody.
That's right.
And 15 silver pieces.
Well, I did find these teeth and some silver pieces.
Dearie. Oh. It does pain me to know that befell the fate of some of our men. If you won't mind, could I trade you for those teeth?
Oh, of course. What exactly were you offering to trade?
Well, they're all worth about 1 gold piece. But here, why don't we make this clean? You give me the bag, and I'll give you 4 gold pieces altogether.
Not that I would ever turn down gold, but maybe there's something else you can offer that would be much more worthy to us than gold, because I don't wish to trade off dead men's good for just gold alone. I'm looking for more informative type of currency.
Well, if that's what you're looking for.
And if it is not you, my dear lady, who can offer this type of currency, could you kindly point me in the direction of the ones that can?
You've already won my friendship, friend. I'd do it for the asking. Well, naturally. You come to the Lion Shield Costas in Fandolin, you're gonna get a discount. We have a supply of armor, weapons, all for sale for interested buyers. Discuss prices a little later, but you do know, but I will not support in any way those filthy red brands. Goblins were one thing, but men coming in and banditing around a poor defenseless town, I tell you what, it's enough to make me spit.
This is the second time you have mentioned these bandits. We have never heard of them. I apologize, we're not from around here. I know, Olivius, you have traveled a great many distance, but have you ever heard of these red bands?
Maybe a few whispers, but nothing that comes readily to mind.
Oh, Could you tell us a little bit about them?
Red Brand's a hodgepodge group of men and bandits have assembled over the times of Fandolin's re-emergence. There's been word that there's value in the emerging of Handlin, and our very presence, along with a few other merchant guilds here, has made ripe for the picking. We don't have a noble to stand as protection. We do not have a town guard. We are very self-sufficient here, but there's only so much that we can do, and we're only so spread out. We can protect what's near and dear, but everything else that we must risk is, well, risked. And these Red Brand seem to take it what they can.
Let me ask you something, and I don't mean to come off as a little strange, but we might be able to help with this problem. However, are there anybody in town that you might suspect would be working with these Red Brands? It's usually the case in these kinds of things that there might be an insider, and I don't wish to point fingers or make any accusations aloud, but it would help us to be able to maybe narrow it down, for we don't wish to have this town be completely overrun with bandits, especially since I have to sleep here, and I find that to be quite distasteful. Thieving. How dare they?
Tell us the truth. I have been most busy trying to secure what little that I can. I don't spend much time in the inn, but I do hear that's the place to go for scuttlebutt.
Alright. Do you have a bailiff in this town?
Yeah.
The bailiff is the town planner
hold
and
on
the
one
person
sec.
who handles all kind of judgments.
Got one with course. Alright. Hold on 1 second here.
We're breaking the DM.
Sorry.
I should have read all of this before we
It's
started.
lawless.
No, it's okay, it's okay. I just thought I'd add one, because usually if there's a bailiff, the bailiff will have record of all the like criminal things.
Proceedings,
Yeah, things
hangings,
like yeah,
pillories,
Yeah.
stockades.
things like that stuff. And they also plan the town too, so they know like where things are like stationed and defensible places, indefensible places, things like that. Like they're the people who kind of like oversee the town, whereas the person who oversees the town is kind of like the
Unfortunately,
political one.
No, we have little in the way of authority here. We have to kind of protect ourselves, like I said. But tell you what, you don't hear this from me, but there is, you know, the local pub in the inn. That's where most of the locals stay and
Yes,
operate.
that's where we just came from.
Those filthy Red Brands. And they quite are filthy. They don't bathe. That's why I call them filthy. Filthy in heart and ideal.
Quite dirty, yes.
They can't very well go walking into the local pub now, can they?
No.
So, but these filthy men, they still need their ale, eh? They drink from their stolen provisions, of course.
I see you're thinking along the same lines that I am.
Mm.
So,
They have a little hideaway. One of our who runs the fucking sleeping giant?
as our god like looks down at the planet and is like, "What the fuck? I put the shit right here. Where the fuck is it?" It's like turning through the shit.
There's a dwarf named Grista. Runs a shitty little bar called the Sleeping Giant. And that's where I see a lot of Red Brands coming in and out.
Where exactly is the sleeping giant?
It's near the outside of town. If you went out the inn, you just turn left and walk down. It's the shitty little building.
we probably passed it up and I didn't even realize it. Thank you, my good lady. What other? Who else has all the other? We have other supplies we're supposed to deliver.
You have it's like,
Sorry.
yeah. A gruff looking worker walks up to Leanne and says to her, "Hey, we took everything that had a brand on it. All of it seems to be the main bulk of a lot of banded goods, but still remains a lot. Seems that they were heading over the Bothans." Still heading over the Bothans now, are you?
Well, at this, I don't know where that is.
it's pretty much next door. Where is it? Oh, it's
It's a little bit north.
it's a little bit
like.
north from where we are.
We had, prior to coming to Phandalin, previously engaged on some business to escort a wagon of supplies to Barden's. And I don't know about you, Crow. I was at least hoping to get that last piece of business wrapped up before
Oh,
evening.
of course, that is exactly
But-
what it is. It isn't that we are just a roaming band of heroes or anything. That's not our. We were just simply doing what any. What's the word? What any Christian
No,
man
you're
would do.
contracted,
No,
I
I'm kidding.
understand
What's that word?
Honorable
What any honorable person would do.
Well, I won't-
mercenary work.
I wouldn't keep you any longer, but could I get those teeth in return?
Oh,
them
of
to the
course. I'm
locals?
sorry. Here, and I hand it to her.
And she gives you another 4 gold.
No,
anyway.
madam. Please.
It won't sit right with me. You know this.
Very well then. But remember, the next time you need anything, just ask us and we'll come as soon as we possibly can. We'll look into this Red Brent situation, but until then, you didn't talk to us about it. And we're only here to deliver supplies.
And then she reaches back into the air, grabs that key, opens up, and unzips her mouth and says, "You need to buy anything. I know Barthen's is going to pay you for your work, but just remember who paid you more."
Of course we will. Of course we will. We have some.
Come back,
Let me ask you:
spend
do
some
you
of that
sell
gold.
horse armor?
Well, I'd take a look for you.
All right.
Might be buried down deep somewhere, but we might be able to find something fletching for young master over there.
All right. And I don't mean to offend Olivius, however, I
no,
believe.
I understand that certain pieces of not human-built equipment. Well,
We wish
not
to turn
human,
you less
sized.
into a. We wish to turn you less into an arrow target and more of an arrow deflector,
yes, I would greatly appreciate that.
and also might be useful for cover later. Anyway, let's. All right. Well, we say our goodbyes, and then we're going to head next door to Parthen's.
Okay, so
We
you
knock
head
on-
out,
Knock on the door.
and you've got you head over to Barthen's, and where's Barthen's provisions? Red brand, nope. Ah, here we go. So. Thought I saw something I should have. Stonehill Inn. Okay. So as you're walking along, you see that Barthen's is just a little bit bigger than the Lion Shield Costers. It was the first trading post in Phandalin, but it is stocked with most ordinary goods and supplies, which most of you have a bedroll and such in your
Yeah.
traveling bags, and you might be able to find things here and there. And Parthen's doesn't stock weapons. They're more of a general goods supply, whereas the Lion Shield Costers are more of an adventuring guild. They have weapons and armor and such things. But this is where you could find some liquors, some food, some different things that you might want. And you might find some more adventuring gear, just general supplies. You knock on the door, and a gentleman opens up.
Oh, sorry.
Let me think if I give
Just
him
trying to. I was pulling out my inventory, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I actually have stuff I gotta look at.
He is he's a lean and balding man. He's a shopkeeper. He's the shopkeeper behind the who spends his time behind the shop, and he has a kindly demeanor. He looks fairly tired after working for a long day. He's about 50 years old.
All right.
There are several young clerks running around, restocking and neatening up where it needs to be, and
The medieval big lots. Gotcha. It's pretty much a
So-
description of a big lots.
Barthen sees the wagon, and he says, Oh dear. Everybody's Scottish. No. Oh, babe in blue. Just make him raspy. Babe in blue. Oh, it's so good to see. He runs out and starts petting the oxen. This being one of the typical carts that goes back and forth between Phandalin and other surrounding areas. The cart itself and the oxen belong to Barthen's Provisions, and particularly Elmer. Not Elmer. Yeah, it is Elmer. Elmer Barthen. He pets them on the head and says, "Oh, you must be the adventurers that were contracted to bring these provisions here." Very well. He looks onto his clerks who have got the attention and start heading over their way. Also, the pet babe in blue. He says, "Can you get 10 gold pieces apiece for Hold on, there are supposed to be 3 of you, aren't there?
Yes, our other companion unfortunately had a nasty spill and is recovering at the end. Mass Mage will, I will be taking a power of attorney just temporarily to receive his gold pieces until he is able to recover them himself.
Nice. So he hands you a bag of 20 gold pieces, and he hands a bag of 10 gold pieces to Olivius.
Thank you, sir.
Very welcome. Oh, all of it's here. Excellent, excellent. What news do you bring?
Well, it depends on what kind of news you're looking for. There's quite a lot that we could tell about our journey.
Did you have trouble?
Well,
You could say that.
we are actually still looking for Rockseeker.
Rockseeker.
Yeah, we're still looking for a Master Rockseeker.
What happened?
Unfortunately, it sounds like his caravan was ambushed on the road. We were able to survive the attack, and we were able to clear out the local cave of a very nasty bugbear and return supplies. And we also found Barry Blue James, who is a...
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Is he back in town now?
Yes, and he's doing quite well. He was able to recover from the ordeal. But you will not have to worry about the cave any longer, although there might be some wolves running around, but you guys could take care of it. We weren't much in the business of killing wolves, unfortunately.
I must say, I am saddened to hear about Gundren. He's about to be a very lucrative business partner in these parts. So.
He still might be. We haven't given up on him, and I'm very certain that we're going to find him.
Well, it warms my heart to hear. So you will be looking for him?
Absolutely. You see, this is the thing about the kind of people we are. We like to do the right thing because it is the right thing, and also we like gold as well, so...
Little on the nose. But, then again, that's
it
what
was
you're
supposed to
here
be
for.
a joke, but of course I apparently fell flat, and Olivius is better at telling jokes, clearly.
Do you know of, Nondra and Tharden?
I don't know.
Those are the Rockseeker brothers.
Yes, they are the Rockseeker brothers. Thank you for reminding me.
Now, I haven't seen them in a very long... Now that this news about Gundren's been received, I wonder how they've been doing too. They're supposed to be camped out not too far outside of town, but I haven't seen them in about 10 days.
Well,
They
we'll
usually come in about
go
every
and take a
week.
look for you. We wish to question them if maybe they have heard any word of their brother.
One more time, please.
Oh, did you not hear that? Oh, sorry. No,
You must excuse me, my ears are quite a bit more hairy than the average one.
Oh, that is quite fine. I'm sure we'll all get to that point, hopefully,
Gives you a
and we'll
wry
age
smile.
just as gracefully as you have. So we would like to seek out these brothers and see if they knew what happened to Gundren, because it would be really nice to recover him, as he is, I believe, key to all of this.
You probably know more than they do, but if you wouldn't mind checking in on them as well. But do remember to look for Gundren. Do you know where he might have been taken?
Livius.
We believe we have a heading A certain Cragmaw Castle that I understand is in the area.
Oh.
Do you know anything about this? You said Cragmaw.
Yes, Cragmaw
Cragmaw
Castle.
Castle.
Well, I know there've been very many goblins harassing and terrorizing the travelers as they come in and out, but I didn't know if they were situated or located in any particular place.
Do you know anything about this castle? Any of its history? Do you know who lived there before?
You guys actually know where it is already.
No, I mean, do you know the history?
Oh, is he know?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job of keeping everything secret.
I'm trying to find. Well, I'm trying to find like.
Yeah, no, that's
you know,
fine.
you know,
He's going for information. Yeah.
Secret entrance.
No.
You know, I'm thinking like we're not going to crash the front gate, and
yeah.
Olivius could wearing his horse armor. the DLC from Oblivion.
Pre-order now, only $19.99.
No, it was like one of the first. It was like they released DLC for Oblivion, and it was just shitty horse armor. It was like $5, and people were like, "This is just a mod. What are you charging for this?" Oh man, the horse armor meme lives on. Anyway, so what was the name of that inn that's on the outside of town that has all the shady people?
Sleeping Giant.
Sleeping Giant.
More of a tavern than an inn.
And these brothers, are they camped out anywhere past the Sleeping Giant?
Oh, they're quite a distance away. They're surveying.
Wonderful. Well, we have some business to attend to, and we don't wish to keep you any longer. We will be coming back for supplies, however. We just need to gather ourselves.
Absolutely.
Because we do have...
Well, it's good to see you safe.
Yes, and it is good to see that this town is finally a mining town that's actually going somewhere. Olivius, are you ready to go?
Yes.
Well, we'll take our leave of you, and we will return when you are ready to purchase. When are you going to close?
Well,
Do you have like a third shift?
we pretty much we close with the sundown and open quite soon after.
What time is it right now?
The sun is actually setting as you're speaking.
Okay, perfect. All right then. If it is already going to be closed, then we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Very well.
I forgot his name. Anyway, we're gonna go.
Barthen.
Barthen.
Well, Mr. Barthen.
Mr.
Elmer Barthen.
So, Olivius, do you care to entertain the idea to go and check out the Sleeping Giant?
As long as checking out does not involve us having to defend ourselves in a bar fight, I am game.
Olivius, look at me. Do I look like the kind of person that would get involved in such things?
Do you want the honest answer?
No, I don't. All right then, off to the Sleeping Giant.
Well, it's
is it far?
after the sun sets.
Is it too dark?
It's very dark.
Oh, shit,
There
okay.
aren't like a lamp set. There aren't fire set. It's extremely dark.
Olivius, you could have had your dark vision, but you had to pick Shatter. No,
which you feel perfectly at home with, but at the same time, you've been traveling for a very long time. You've been helping through your eyes are falling as you are speaking.
Never mind then. Let's go and get some rest at the what's the name of it?
Stonehill Inn.
Stonehill Inn. Okay, I see it. The Stonehill. Before we go and visit the Sleeping Giant, let's get a nice little rest in, and also check on Mass Mage to make sure he's doing well.
Okay.
All right. So you guys head over to Stonehill. There is food and drink waiting for you as board is included
Cheese
with
and
the
bread.
room. There's
cheesy bread.
There's some lingering townspeople hanging out, just chatting and amongst yourselves. But you find that you eat quickly and head to bed. After checking on Mass, Mass is doing fine. He doesn't seem to be overly damaged in any way, and he was stable on his trip. It just seems that he's exhausted and no longer mortally wounded, but in a state which, as long as he stays resting and doesn't exert himself, he should be fine. He's breathing, he's unconscious, but he doesn't seem to be in much pain. But he will need more time to recover, and you imagine that if you come across a healer or a doctor of sorts, you might ask them to come visit him just to take a look and see. But he's doing all right.
All right. So then we rest through the night.
Mm-hmm. So you go to the inn and let's see here.
Just do the. What's that guy's name? I was like, you awaken as the sun begins to rise. It's super deep, awesome voice.
So let's see here. Town description. What did they say? Let's see if how to say it.
Oh, that's right. In Quest of Glory 4.
So
the inn had like avocado and garlic sandwiches.
Ooh.
And you're like, oh,
that's delicious.
He sounds delicious. And that's all they eat in town. Everything is laced with garlic.
Garlic's tasty.
They are very afraid of vampires.
Oh.
So everything's like, so it's like your rations that you get for your character are like avocado and just heavily laced with garlic.
Yeah, that's funny. With the time that you have the rest, you take a look at the map that Mr. Stonehill Toblin had provided you with, and you can take a look around. You see the different locales that you've already investigated. There is Fandlin's Minor Exchange, where you had thought to get some appraisals.
Oh, right.
Because although we no longer have the teeth, we do still have the jade
frog statue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which was just across the street from the Lion Shield Costers, the armor and weapons providers of the town. But you take a look around the map just to fulfill your curiosity of where it is you might be able to visit and what you may be able to see. You see that the Sleeping Giant is labeled. The Townmaster's Hall is right across from the Stonehill Inn. Barthen's home isn't very far away from Stonehill Inn. He has that labeled. Barthen's Provisions is... In fact, Barthen's home is right behind Barthen's Provisions, which you've already visited.
Yes.
That's your local goods store. The smithy is what you could actually hear... Well, just very... actually, you didn't hear any smithing because it was so late in the day, and it was going to be smithing near sunset. But the smithy is right across from Barthen's
There's smoke coming up. He's probably not hitting a hammer on anything.
You
doesn't have to.
You see you had seen a small shrine, which is labeled the Shrine of Luck, which is near the town green, and that is labeled over next to Sister Grael's home, or Garaella's, whatever hell her name is.
You can call her whatever you want to.
Because I am God in this world, and I am the namer. I can call her Garlinda if I so choose, and you must obey. Garella's home. And
Math Orchard.
You do not know what these particular places of note are, just that they are labeled on the map. But you have the other Math Orchard. You have Lenine's home, Lenan's, who is the leader of the Lion Shield Coasters. You have the Miners Trail leading out of town, which you very well. Actually, I think you came from. Yeah, you came from north, moving south, so you came out of that field. The Miners Trail leads south. You also have Halia's home and the Woodworker near the Lion Shield Coasters and the Fandlin Exchange. There's also the Alderley Farm. And to the east, you have the Tresdar Manor, which is fairly ruined, along with the Sleeping Giant, which I think I've mentioned already. But there are many different places to investigate and people to talk to. What you might consider doing is just spending a day doing... well, I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Just give us a suggestion. Well, a suggestion's fine.
There's just like you heard from Lien, if you're looking for rumors, hanging out in the pub is where you might find them.
Okay. Olivius, I saw a shrine to my patron saint. I wish to visit it.
Okay.
The patron saint of Lady Luck.
While you are doing that, I don't know what rituals you do to Lady Luck. Maybe you light a candle for me, since I seem to be
will
following
do
you into...
no such thing. You do not like candles to luck. Ugh, this is why you're no good at these things, Olivius. That's why I'm here to teach you. Don't worry, I will say a prayer for you. I go to the Shrine of Luck, and
Okay.
I search around it for any thieves' cant markings.
Okay, let's take a look here. Phandolin's only temple is a small shrine made of stones taken from the nearby ruins. It is dedicated to Timora, goddess of luck and good fortune. There is a scholarly acolyte named Sister Garella, a zealous young elf who despairs of ever... Well, here, man. I shouldn't even tell you that, because it's something you have to...
No, yeah, no. I was about to say, oh, I'm about
So
to find
let's
some
see.
information.
Scholar. Well, you see a scholarly young elf taking care of the shrine.
Anything?
I'm looking.
Oh, okay, sorry. And what were you going to do, Olivius?
I was thinking that I might check out the Town Master's Hall and
Okay.
inquire about if there's a healer in town that we could engage to help out Mass Mage.
And I'm I'm going to the Shrine of Luck to give Mass Mage my thoughts and prayers.
Funny enough,
Sending
as,
my thoughts and prayers. Change my profile picture.
So you're looking all over the shrine. What do you say to what do you the young elf is just minding the shrine, cleaning it up. You start searching it, and she starts eyeing you as you start padding around.
I'm padding around inconspicuously, like
Inconspicuously.
I'm obviously like I'm doing the thing where it's like I'm like.
Why don't you go
Oh,
ahead and
God,
make a roll for
Oh
inconspicuousness
shit!
then.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna be like, oh Lady Luck, oh Goddess of Fortune.
Go ahead and roll that d20 for me.
All right, rolling the d20. All right, I got nowhere to. Hopefully it'll stay on this
You want me
point.
to go get the...
No, this should be, that'll be fine.
That's not...
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
I'd do either table
Let's do
or
a
if you
table.
wanna-
17. Yeah, you're pretty deft at hiding your actions, and so after just watching you arrive, she leaves you to your business.
And do I find anything?
You actually you find a small engraving. You don't know exactly what it is in Thieves' Camp, but you do know it's the shape of a harp.
It's good to know. I go and inquire to the young lady,
Mm-hmm.
and I go, "Good lady, may I have a word with you?"
Of course.
And I reach out. My name is Crowwind. I am actually from another town. I reach out
She gingerly shakes your hand.
and in the shaking, I'm doing a very deft, like, thieves' cant thing that only a thief would know. Like she would never notice it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, unless she's a
Okay.
yeah, unless she knows thief cant.
Unless you know seek it. Okay.
It'd almost be like if I shook your hand and I was doing just like it would feel like a normal shake to anybody else.
She smiles at you. She says, I'm sure you're individual who cares quite a bit about privacy. Why don't we have a chat?
That is exactly what I was hoping you would say. Would you lead the way?
And she does. She shows you to her home. It's a modest home next to the shrine. Just big enough for a room and a small kitchen and just places to store her everyday effects. Very Spartan. But she invites you in, and she leaves the door open. so as not to appear like she's just inviting you in, a strange man, Fairland, but she leaves the door wide open. As it is also not uncommon for her to counsel with people who pray to the god. And so she, as you sit near her table, and she sits down and says, what does she say to you? Well, I must say, I didn't particularly expect another one of us showing up around here.
My dear lady, there's quite a few of us around.
I knew about that, but
You see, the thing is, I've been traveling with these companions, and just recently we have come across a few items that need appraisal, and I was wondering if anybody within our profession would know anything like this.
well, now, who are we?
What do you mean?
It's a simple question.
I don't know what you mean by that. Like, who are we? Like, I'm actually at a loss of what she's asking.
In reference to many of us around, and like who are us? Who are?
Oh. Those of us who wish to gain a fortune from Phandalin and do it without them knowing.
She gets up and closes the door. And you see she puts her hands behind her back, and still wryly smiling. And she says, seem to have gotten the wrong idea about you.
And what gives you that idea?
Well, I thought you might have been privy to information, but it seems that you might just be more of a common type.
You see, that's the thing about me. People underestimate me right before they do something stupid. So I suggest that you open that door back up and we continue our conversation like normal people, because that's exactly what we are here. Or we can end this in a way that I'm sure that won't be favorable for you.
Go ahead and roll that d20.
15.
15. We're gonna call that a bluff. And
Oh, I'm not even seeing it, so.
let's see here. What is your deception plus? Plus 2. So you got how much?
15?
15, 17. Okay.
Crow, I just want you to know that at this very moment, Olivius can sense that maybe he made the wrong choice of leaving Crow by himself, and that he has this spirit of disapproval hanging over him.
Olivius didn't like that.
She stops smiling, opens the door and says, I think you ought to leave.
I stand up and I say, My fair lady, it was never my intention to come in here in the first place, but it was always a pleasure to meet you. I'm sure we'll meet again. Absolutely. You can count on it.
She places a hand and on your back and slowly pushes you out the door, but you feel the thieves' cant for jerk. and then she slams the door behind or after you.
Okay. See, I'm just figuring that she's probably with the bandits, and that's why I'm like, yeah. That's why I'm like, all right, if she's with the bandits, I'm gonna immediately not like her anyway. So,
All right.
that's why I was going with the, yeah, I'm here to, I'm kind of with you, but it didn't work. But so, that's fine. That's fine. And so I
Go ahead and roll a d20.
okay. 12.
12. you know, just from the exchange and what you saw of her home, that she was, well, she took regular care of herself. She seemed to be invested in the role that she was doing as a guardian of the shrine. But she did understand thieves' cant, and she did seem ready to handle herself with whatever weapon she was hiding. You feel like this isn't particularly the demeanor that you would expect of a common bandit or to throw in with ruffians. This is something else. You don't know what, but it's something different.
Fair enough. Also, I don't know, did you notice when the door closed, my demeanor and my voice changed?
A little bit, yeah.
I went from the really weird, like, whatever accent I'm doing to me. This is the way I actually talk when I'm around people like myself. Because I feel like that's cool.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I go and find Olivius. Olivius, what have you been doing? What have you been up to?
I was asking at the Townmaster's Hall about if there were any healers in town.
And was he successful at this?
Well, let's retcon a little bit about what Olivius was doing while you were at the Shrine of Luck.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Back at the ranch.
Olivius walks up to the Townmaster's Hall, and the Townmaster's Hall has sturdy stone walls, a pitched wooden roof, and a bell tower at the back. Posted on a board next to the front door is a notice written in common. It reads, "Reward. Orcs near Wyvern Tor. Those of a mind to face the Orc menace should inquire within." The notice bears the town seal and an indecipherable signature. Okay.
I think I got an idea. Oh, I'll run it by Olivius in a bit. I want to just do the town hall thing first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. You gingerly. Are there steps? I imagine there being steps, but there probably aren't.
Maybe like 2 or 3.
2 or 3. You enter the Town Master's Hall, and you see it's a fairly wide room, and there's a very portly gentleman. And when I say gentleman, I mean actual gentleman. He has smart clothing, what would be the equivalent of a nice business suit. He has a few scrolls and a few books outlaid over the very large desk in front of him. He is bothering himself with records, and there are a few pieces of gold strewn about the table. Nothing significant, maybe just a pile of 15 pieces here or there, but it's obvious that this man is an accountant or banker of some sort, and he sees you come in, and he says,
"Oh,
yes, how can I help you?" Oh, Lord, aren't you big? Come in.
Excuse me, good sir. My name is Olivius Tursk. I am part of a adventuring team, as it were.
You happen to see our notice on the board outside? I will happen to see the notice on our board outside about the orcs.
I did, and I'd like to circle back to that in a moment.
Is the Town Master Boss Nass from Star Wars 1?
It's just supposed to be a fat dude.
Oh, the boss. Yeah, might as well be Boss Nass.
Sure. I don't know. I don't know who that is.
It's the Gungan leader from
Boss
Phantom Menace. That was a good impression. I was like, oh wow.
That wasn't what I was going for, but yeah, I might keep that in mind.
So at the moment, though, one of our members has been gravely injured in one of our recent escapades, and I was wondering if you might be able to direct me to a local healer.
The only I've known of maybe two magical beings. The one of them being the Shrine Maiden at the Shrine of Luck, and unfortunately, a wizard of some power has gone missing. His name is Arano. I do believe a man who instilled himself at the local inn. His name is Mr. Blue Jeans, as it were. He's been looking for him. Either of those two might be able to help you out. But you would have to find Arano first, and he's been missing for some time. Now, that isn't the main course that I'm very excited to have completed, but if you were to find him, there may be a reward in it for you.
Very interesting. And speaking of rewards, the notice outside the town hall mentioned a reward for killing orcs. How many orcs do you plan to have killed or need to have killed, and what is this reward?
Well, I can offer you 100 gold pieces. There isn't so much a number as just reports of orcs harassing individuals. So I'm not afraid that, well, let me check my notes in front of me. Let's see if I have the actual reward. It's a camp. Not a very large one, but enough to be reported on at least. So, not a small number, not a large number, I'd say. Maybe anywhere from 10 to 15.
All right. And this 100 gold pieces, was that per orc or for the total elimination of the camp?
No, that's for a job well done.
Understand. And which direction and how far was this camp?
It's east on the It is east on the tribal trail.
Understand. What? Oh, there was something else I was going to ask you. Oh, bear with me one moment. Please forgive me.
I will just continue with my work until it comes back to you. Scribble.
Oh, yes. We've heard reports of a Cragmaw Castle, I believe, in the area. Do you happen to know anything about that location? Anything about its history?
Cragmaw Castle. Just at that time, Barry of Blue Jeans walks in, and he has with him his traveling supplies. It seems that he means to set himself up in the Town Master's Hall and make it a general base of operations. Barry. Oh, it's really good to see you again. I'm glad to see you safe and well. Have you met young Mr. Tursk here?
Oh, we have been very well acquainted.
Yeah, that's Mr. Olivius Tursk there. He's I keep changing his voice. I need to. He's supposed to sound nerdy, is what he's supposed to sound like. Yeah. No, that is a fellow adventurer and companion. But we were just discussing. Young Mr. Tusk said something about a Cragmar castle. And Barry straightens up and is like, is that your next goal? I would suggest and urge you that would be what you look forward next. We know that that's most likely where Gundren was taken, as well as the map for Wave Echo Cave. If you were to successfully take out that castle, not only would you be bringing more safety to the trails, I'm sure there'd be a hefty reward, at least 500 gold points. Sure, Gundren would be absolutely ecstatic at not dying, as well as getting the map back. And actually, my gear was taken as well, and it is no small fortune. There's decent armor and a family sword. I appreciate having that back as well. Is what he says to you.
Absolutely. Gungeon is one of my our top priorities at the moment. We've just been kind of hoping to get a mass mage healed up and ready for another fight, and in the meantime just gathering whatever information we can get.
And what have you learned so far?
Unfortunately, I have not learned very much. I'm hoping that Crowwind will have much better luck than me. I believe, in fact, he was going to the Shrine of Luck, so maybe that will have helped him out. In the meantime, should probably go catch up with him, and I will see you all good gentlemen at another time.
Very well. That's how he says bye.
And so what? Are you coming back to me?
So I was headed towards, probably just to hang out in the town square there.
Okay. And you just see me like hanging out near the shrine or whatever, and I'm like, Olivius, how did everything go in the town hall?
Well, after we rescue Gungeon, there is apparently an orc problem in the area that could be profitable. 100 gold pieces for eliminating a camp of orcs, but that
mercenary work is quite the thing, isn't it? Quite well paying, I might add. I was not able to learn much from Lady Luck, unfortunately. I'll teach you something about Lady Luck, Olivius. Lady Luck is a lot like a prostitute, and at times, when you're fresh out of cash, there's not much you can do about it.
I did understand, though, if we were looking for a healer, the town's resident wizard, Aeon, what was his name?
Irana.
Urano. Well,
Okay.
he was the bumbling fool of a town master. Suggested both being able to find Urano, he might be able to help, being magical in nature, but also the Shrine Maiden. What's her face? Sister Grail,
Yeah.
Sister Garella, is also magical in nature, or has some magics that might be useful to you, and is in fact not too far from where you are standing, or at least you assume so.
And Olivius, I do not suggest you go bother Sister. She does not seem to be the kind of person that we wish to associate ourselves with. Remember, Olivius, not everyone is exactly what meets the eye.
I nod my head understandingly. understanding the implications of.
I'll tell you all about it later. This is no place to be talking about such matters.
Olivia, go ahead and roll a d20.
Oh, sorry. Oh, fair enough.
11. And then what's your... I think you have a pretty high insight.
Inside I have a +4.
+4. Yeah. You get the feeling... you get the feeling that Crow may have made an ass of himself. And also, you understand that you could probably inquire as to whether this... If the connection between Crow and yourself has been made in this young woman's mind yet, and you could inquire with Crow to see if he's mentioned anything about being with other adventurers or has name-dropped you in particular, and maybe you could drop by and just pretend not to know Crow, and maybe get a little bit further than he may have.
So do you want to, like...
So...
call me out, or what do you want to do?
As we, well, let us talk a little bit about our findings as we head to the miners' exchange. Possibly we can get this jade
All right.
frog looked at, and we can talk out of earshot of the shrine.
So you wish to know what happened with the lady? Very well, Livius. Let's just say that you should never trust somebody who hides a dagger behind their back, or any kind of weapon for that matter. For I may have made a mistake, but I think it might be something that you can remedy for us. I did not name drop you. You see, sometimes my charm works, and sometimes Lady Luck is totally not on my side. You understand? Mistakes are made. We learn from mistakes, Livius.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And I'm thinking that maybe you might be able to inquire where I was not. I would suggest, however, it's just if you feel the need at some point during the conversation, to ask her about, you know, musical instruments. Any that she might happen to like. Or...
Okay.
I know this seems a little bit out there.
Strange.
But it's a hobby.
Sequitur, as it were.
It's a hobby of mine. I wanted to know, and I think I may have made a mistake. Especially a liar, if she happens to like those. I happen to enjoy those myself. If it happens to come up in conversation. This is not something you have to do.
Understood.
Very well, then we head to the miners' exchange.
All right. Miners exchange.
Here's
back.
Hey, it's John. He's
Hey,
back.
sorry.
Hey, you ready for his? You want to have John do his debut?
Oh yeah. As you head over to the miners' exchange, a dwarf with an unusual amount of grace in holding himself, but less so in the way that he moves. Almost like he is unfamiliar with his body. Walks into town from the miners' trail. What is his name?
Rudian.
Rudian?
Hey, let me type it to you.
And as we're walking up to the Miners Guild, and he is... Here, I'll pull it up on the screen, Mike. Oh. Here it is. Ruin. It's on the Discord on the main screen. Oh.
Just repeat it to me until I get it. Ruin.
Why'd you make a name like that, John? What the hell?
I looked it up. So how about we just call me a Ruian?
A Ruin?
A Ruian, yeah.
A Ruian.
That second R is kind of screwing me up.
All right, a Ruin. Ruin walks into town, and you see this dwarf, another newcomer. Do you pass him by, or do you call out to him?
No. Here's what I'm walking around with Olivius. And Olivius, one thing you need to understand, especially when dealing with others, is how you carry yourself. You trot along like you are walking like this is a caravan. When you're walking around town, you need to show people that you are much more than meets the eye. Like this young man over here. Oh, I'm sorry, you're actually a dwarf. I apologize. But you're carrying yourself with such grace, I had no idea. My apologies. John.
I'm new to this.
No worries, I'm talking to you.
What were you saying?
I apologize. I was just nearly talking to my ward here about how to carry himself in town, and you seem to be doing it in a way that, not to sound...
Before you do that, go ahead and roll a d20.
Oh, okay. 13?
13? That, actually, yeah, you get an idea. He's acting strangely elf-like.
And you seem to have, let me ask you this. Were you raised by elves in your youth? Maybe traveled?
Isn't it obvious? Isn't it obvious I am an elf?
Of course.
Go ahead and roll that d20 again.
Okay. I got a 6.
6. You're taken aback for a second, but standing in front of you is a very stocky, hairy young man. Well, young for a dwarf, which could be 200 years old for all you know, with a big old bushy beard. What color is the beard?
Red.
Red, with a big old red hairy beard, big old brown rooty eyes, a big old... Well, I don't want to be putting things into your mouth. Could you describe the facial features and just general physical characteristics of your character?
Red beard, long red hair, big nose, heavy brow, kind of stocky for a dwarf, big and strong, kind of defined, yet still a little bit slender.
What kind
Like
of clothes does he wear?
Very refined for a dwarf.
What about the underwear? I'm just kidding.
Underwear? What underwear?
So I'm definitely taken aback.
You're taking it back, but you're like, you're like in your mind, you're like, that's a goddamn dwarf.
Oh, yes. But my response, of course, Master Elf. Olivius, I would like to introduce you to my elfish friend. What's your name? I'm sorry, I did not catch it.
It's Cerulean.
Yururian.
Good evening, or good morning, rather. I don't know what's wrong with me. I should be more awake than this. I reach down and stretch out my hand to shake Mr. Aruian's. As I say, my name is Olivius Tursk.
It's rare for us to see an elf in these parts of the world. Well, what brings you here?
I've come to find Barthen. He sold me a crystal, and it don't work.
And what exactly does this crystal do?
It's a transformation crystal.
A transform... Olivius, I'm not... what is this? This is not my... I apologize, I'm not a magic...
Go ahead and roll a d20, Olivius.
Okay.
20.
He got it.
It's the rest for luck. It's just...
You see that crystal and you identify it immediately. It's something that you've seen quite often in the travels with your family, protecting merchants and caravanners and the like. That is a fairly common crystal. It is the physical construction of a very simple transmutation spell. Let me look up the spells real. You might even... I need to look those up.
I don't think I have it. There was like I saw one. There was like an adapt body or something.
But essentially, you know that it holds a charge for one use of the simple spell transformation, or adaptation, but it's not a it isn't a very powerful magical piece of equipment. It's mostly used for small conveniences. So, like, if you were in a barren landscape, you could use it to change a pile of dirt into wood and then make a fire. Or if you had a body of water, you could use that to make transform it from, like, tepid, stagnant water into pure hot water and take a bath in it. It's a useful little trinket. And it's by no means cheap, but it isn't like a fantastical crystal with repeated use. It is a one charge object of that nature.
Olivius, I see a twinkle in your eye. You know what this item is.
Well, I know of them. I don't know what this particular one was supposed to be doing, but it basically is a transformation spell that a wizard would create and give like a physical form, and then it could be used by less magical beings to perform some operation, turning one thing into another.
It's basically a charge of prestidigitation.
Ah, so it's like it's a crystallized source. Okay, so I just I look over at Arurion, and I'm just like, oh, what exactly were you trying to do with it?
Just a second there, Yoggin. Listen, horseman, you mean to tell me this has one charge, and then it is gone?
Yes.
No, it still has its charge left. It's just that
it does.
it hasn't been. So to pull the veil over a little bit, I'm imagining that you went to Barthen to buy the transformation crystal, and in your haste, you didn't really listen to him. You just saw transformation crystal or transmutation crystal and bought it, and then tried to use it, but you weren't using it. You were trying to change yourself back into an elf, which is outside the scope of the crystal's magic. So it is still charged, and you could use it to do the cantrip prestidigitation, but it's not going to do what you intended. That's what I imagine the misunderstanding to be.
Aye.
Curtain pulled back closed.
Okay.
So I explained everything that you just did. That it's like not like a permanent change, and it doesn't change like something very big. It's small alterations to
Fascinating. I did not know such
reality.
I did not know such things existed. It's giving me many ideas.
So I've spent 5 silver for nothing. Bah! Where's Barthen?
It's no worry. I did not really look at that place as much. Why were you trying to use this transformation crystal?
To put myself back to an elf.
So you were an elf before, and now you're not.
Are your ears plugged there? Have you not heard of what I said?
I heard every word. It's just
you have
I'm trying
to excuse Mr. Crowin sometimes. He doesn't dabble, or he doesn't dwell in the land of the arcane and magical very much. He is very much a here and now physical world sort of person. So sometimes these things tend to go over his head.
As many things do, yes. Master Olivius is quite right. I am not exactly a dabbler in magic. However, I am curious as to if you say you're an elf, what happened? How did you become a dwarf?
The sorceress.
It's always a woman, isn't it?
Aye.
Trust me, I just had a rare reason.
Yeah, really.
Go ahead, sorry.
We had a noble gathering at one of the houses. And it was dawned on to me of a woman who came begging for shelter. Well, we just can't have that kind of riffraff coming in now, can we? because then all will come in there and we got free boarding. So we turned her away, and then it turned out she was a sorceress. Within my selfishness, she cast a spell on me and turned me into a dwarf.
Wow.
Which is
So
why I need to find the crystal that Barton sold to me.
A tale to be
And
sure
it doesn't
of.
work.
Olivius, do you know of any way to help this man who's...
Some might say a tale as old as time.
Yes,
I was going to say... No.
Sorry.
That's all I could come up
It is always... It always turns out that the beauty ends up making a man into a beast these days. Olivius, is there any way we might be able to... I don't know. Can you change people into things? I do not know of such magics, and quite frankly, it scares me a little. Although if I could choose a form, I would choose quite a beautiful woman. Oh, the things that I could do. I'm sorry, I'm just
The
thinking
money
to myself.
you could make.
Olivius, with your wit. You're learning fast.
Why I know of these sorts of spells, and I've read briefly about them, I do not feel confident enough in my abilities to attempt them at all for fear of hurting either myself or the subject in mind.
Would you know of any place where he could get treated? A transformation rehab, perhaps?
I suppose if you found a wizarding school, maybe? I don't know.
Well, where did you learn magic?
I taught myself. I am a mostly self-taught
You are
wizard.
quite good at magic for a self-taught person.
I'll try anything.
Well, I don't know of any magical schools nearby. Not that I would know such things anyway. Olivius?
I do not know of anything myself, although perhaps if you'd like to walk with us a bit.
Maybe we might be able to find something to help you.
Maybe you've heard of a wizard
Oh,
more
yes.
powerful than you.
Yeah, the guy that's gone missing that Blue Jeans is trying to find.
Yeah, you relate the information that you received from
And I don't
the,
know if Mass Mage, in his current state, he could handle. He is quite a very... I would say probably a little more schooled. No offense, but he
No,
does
I
come off as quite a
understand
very
that-
educated young man.
Yes, he is. I do not know whether his particular skills lie in transformation.
I was just wondering how he made himself sparkly, but that's just me. I don't...
You received
Sometimes you wizards have quite crazy abilities.
You received information from both Barry Blue Jeans and Harbin Wester of the missing wizard, whose name is
Uranus.
like Irano or something.
I think it's Uranus, because I remember reading it in the beginning. It's very similar to another name from a game that I know of.
I just had it in front of me. God dang it, mother. I know it's bolded somewhere. Where is it?
It's okay.
It's under town hall. There it is. Irano. Yeah.
Urano? Okay.
Urano. But the wizard Urano has been missing for 2 months, and that people are interested in finding him again. He was up to decent work. He's a member of the same order that that Barry Blue Jeans is of. It's a peacekeeping kind of authority establishing order that just rights wrongs and fights for the weak and that sort of deal. And that he was known as a fairly powerful wizard, and he might have the ability or the information that you're seeking.
In that case, I shall travel with you, friends.
Oh, then that would be wonderful. No offense, but do you defend yourself well in battle?
I've been known to wield a bow a time or two in my day.
All right.
What class is what is it?
Arunian.
Arunian. What class is Arunian?
I was thinking more like a hybrid, since he used to be an elf. He has some skill in a bow, but since he's been a dwarf for many years, almost like well, let me ask you this: how long can elves live? Is it like centuries?
Elves live, I think, in like D&D world. I think it's like 1,000 years. Let me look it up real quick just to make sure.
That sounds about right.
But then dwarves live about the same amount of time. They're both very long-living species.
Because my envision of this character is that, okay, maybe it's a generic story about him getting turned into dwarf by a Saurus and all this stuff. Okay, I get that, but like I said, that's the only thing I can come up with. But
no,
there are a few hidden stipulations in this curse that he has, and the fact that he has been an elf for so many years, he's lived a very long time, maybe close to 500 years. And since he's been turned into a dwarf, he's probably also lived like maybe 200 years as a dwarf.
Ooh.
So he has many skill with the bow, but since he's been a dwarf for many years, he has come to be acquainted with an axe.
Okay.
So I don't know if you can do a hybrid of a bow and axe.
How about ranger?
Okay.
Yeah, he's a ranger. Okay.
Okay.
And an axe doesn't have to be this big, heavy thing. Like especially bearded axes, they're long, very spear-like almost, and they have a lot of reach. So you could totally. I mean, that's basically what Gimli from Lord of the Rings has a long bearded axe, which isn't like they're not super heavy or, I mean, they're not supposed to be anyway.
Right.
So I'm looking up. I just a quick Google search. The Roll20 compendium says that elves live for about 750 years, and that dwarves live for about 350 years. So if you were an elf for about 500 years, and then you were changed into a dwarf, we'll say you were a young dwarf. We'd say at 50, and then you spent 200 years as a dwarf. You've got maybe another 100 years to find. Another 100 years of life in the average lifespan of a dwarf to find out how to get back to be an elf, and then get another 250 years of your life back as an elf.
Okay.
Yeah. If that's what we want to roll with.
Would it also work if the as part of the punishment that I would literally have to be a dwarf forever, that the spell protects me from aging?
Oh, all right.
To suffer longer as something that I despise.
Oh, interesting. So you hate dwarfs? Like, is that a character trait? Is it you just a racist against dwarfs?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
He was born and grown up in really high society, and there was, I guess, they're like one of the noble houses, and dwarves were looked at as filthy little things that were only good for labor, and the other things that they're they're basically like, exactly. So to live as one is like the ultimate insult to your house.
Yeah.
And as part of punishment, since you despise them so much, you're going to live forever as a dwarf.
Oh, okay. All right. That's interesting.
But I'm gonna tell you this later. I'm not going to tell you this on stream because I want to give you a little insight on another stipulation.
Okay. Okay.
Sweet.
All right.
So you will join us then?
Yeah. I shall.
That would be great. You see, I was never much for magic. My father, however, was quite the sorcerer. He was able to become the greatest sorcerer in all of Blackwood.
I unnoticeably roll my eyes at this.
Is he for real, Horseman?
Of course I am, and I pat Olivius on the back where he can respond. Of course I am an Olivius.
He is as real as he ever is about this.
It's funny because it's like I'm thinking, it's like, man, if he could start a fire in an oven, that's pretty magical for the people of Blackwood. And that's that's joke every time is that he is the best of whatever you're talking about, but the standards of Blackwood are so goddamn low.
Yep.
That just because he's an average man, he's the best at everything.
I'm just like, he was everything basically. No.
Quite proud of your father. No?
No. My father beat and abused me quite a bit, and wasn't really there for me. But I just like putting it out there because it makes me sound important.
Okay.
I've pretty much said that my father has been pretty much every profession under the sun at this point. So we're going to get some stuff we've plundered, actually, from a recent adventure at the Miners' Exchange. Would you like to join us? We'd like to get it appraised.
As long as I get my hands on Barthen.
Most definitely. So we step inside the Miners' Exchange.
So you walk into the Miners' Exchange, and it's a trading post. But this is where miners who would mine up gold and platinum or any other kind of goods would come in exchange for local currency, or deeds or writs of any kind of sort. It's a fairly straightforward process. There's a cage where there are people operating from behind. There's like two-way what you call it's like for the gas stations that are afraid of people shooting them. They have like the little shelves that rotate and shit like that. You know what? Just an aside, I went to a Popeye's chicken that was like that.
Oh yeah?
And I think that that's kind of fucked up that a Popeye's chicken is so desirable and profitable that they have to put up a bulletproof shield of glass and exchange shit from a turntable.
Oh, you went to one in the hood.
Yeah, that's
okay.
exactly what happened. And I wouldn't imagine like that. Like I went and I ate there, and I ate quickly.
Dude,
but it was just interesting to me. It's like I'd never seen anything like that before.
Really? I grew up. Like most of the places I went to grew up that they all had stuff like that.
Wow.
You serious?
Okay. No, I didn't.
I thought that was like normal. I grew up in my neighborhood in East Cleveland. Like that's all the kind of shit we have.
Wow. No, I'm not used to.
Especially the gas stations are like that.
Gas stations, of course.
Like actually, the gas station that we have.
Gas station over here, sure,
has a bulletproof thing.
Yeah. But it's like, this is a fucking fast food place.
Yeah.
It's like, I can imagine people
and actually our McDonald's is like that too.
The one over...
No, one where I lived over in East Cleveland.
Okay,
McDonald's exact with the glass and everything.
I mean, I guess, maybe they just had a problem.
And the grocery store, the 5 Point, that also had the same thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, now I'm like...
that seems difficult to pull off.
Well, no, because like you would shop around, but then the place where you actually buy stuff right by the doors.
I guess they just put all their money back there.
When also they had an exchange there, so you exchange. I think you could exchange. I keep getting like message. I keep getting like. We'll see if it pops. I didn't get a thing pop up. No, we keep getting or I would just see this stuff there, and as a kid, I just thought I still think like I kind of feel like that's normal for where we're at, but
I just think it's like this has just been an aside from Michael and his privileged life of
yeah. I was gonna say
being able to look at people in the eyes when I order from Taco Bell.
Me and Michael went to a Catholic school for like K through 12.
Yeah.
Oh.
So like.
Yeah.
We're not used to seeing, like, we go to our credit unions. Do you have a bank or a credit union, Nick?
I have a bank.
You have a bank? I go to my credit union, and there's no bulletproof glass. I look at the lady in the eyes, and I smile at her.
Oh, so when we had, you guys remember the bank, Biddy, you would remember this one, National City?
Yeah.
Remember National City Bank? That was my bank when I first turned 17, 18. And...
Okay.
The one that was over by my house, like that was like a fucking fortress. like you're talking like bulletproof glass. Like that place felt like you were like in like a prison. Like it was really, yeah. And they like the bank that took over. I think it was U.S. Bank took over that branch because National City filed for bankruptcy a long time ago.
It wasn't. It was First Merit, maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Did you have National City as well?
At one point, I did.
Yeah, it's that one over there was just like, ooh, like every time I'd have to go there with my family, like because I was little, I had to always go to the bank with them, and it just was like a trip, like yeah, that's crazy, man. I'm surprised you never noticed it before.
I think the most depressing place I'd ever been growing up was the BMV in Elyria when I was first driving. It was just so depressing. It looked so gloomy. No one was smiling. Everyone looked pissed off, and it's like you were so happy to leave.
It's weird. I got messages from Twitch saying people are following, but they're already following. These people are already on the list. Oh, that's alright.
Huh.
It's like, you need to pay for this music. Sorry, I mean, it's already released. We'll have to look at that after stream. So we walk into the miners thingy.
Okay. What would you like to do?
Go up to the counter and just hello, may I get someone to talk to over here?
You talking?
We just come back from a quite grueling experience, and we have come across.
Guy, you're kind of holding up the line. What?
I look around and I'm like, of course, I am holding up the line. I wish to appraise an item that I have brought.
All right, what you got?
I have found this jade frog.
Okay, so you put it on the turnstile and rotate it so that it can get a good look at it. You know, you have an idea that this frog is worth about 40 gold points, or 40 gold coins, and you can attempt to haggle. Let's see. The human behind the shield gets an eyepiece out and starts looking over and is like, well, that's real gold in the eyes. Solid jade throughout. It's a very interesting trinket. Tell you what, get you 20 gold pieces for this.
I see. 20 gold pieces, Olivius. For this jade frog that many people had to die for. You know, I think I'm going to take it back.
Okay. So he, well, and he's like, well, 25 gold pieces.
25. Well, I do appreciate your time and looking at this. I will be taking back my frog now, thank you.
Well, all right. How much do you think it's worth?
How much do I? My good sir, if I knew that answer, I wouldn't be bringing it here to you. But I know a good deal when I see one. You see, I have been traveling the road for many years now, and let's just say I've dealt with enough pawn-type people like yourself, and I know that.
So this is an exchange. We do exchanges here.
Then why are you running this like a pawn shop? It is clearly worth way more.
Because I usually deal in raw gold and silver and platinum. This is, you gotta understand, like, you brought this to not the greatest place. I mean, I can exchange it for you, and I will, but I mean, you gotta understand, I gotta find a buyer for this. It's when I am looking for a buyer, it's gonna take up.
Do you have a guy?
Inventory.
Do you want to like wait for the guy to come in?
You want me to? Yeah, I got a guy who specializes in jade. Do you want me to call him? We can wait for him.
I feel like I'm talking to. That's why I'm like. I feel like I'm talking to the Pawn Star guy. Best I could do is 20. And I'm like, nah, the fuck you ain't doing 20. You know what? I will consider your offer of 25 gold pieces, but I wish to confer with my crew here. Would you mind handing the frog back so we may look at it ourselves?
All right. 35 gold pieces. Best I can do.
I understand. I totally understand. However, I wish to confer with my colleagues before I make a final decision.
Okay. It's like he gives a sigh and is like, okay. And he puts the jade frog back on the turnstile and turns it back over to you.
And then, one moment, and I turn around to Olivius and Urarion, and I'm just like, clearly this frog is worth a little bit more than he's letting on, and he's not exactly clearly outfitted for this kind of appraisal. What do you suggest we do?
How heavy is the frog? How big is it? It's like
it fits in the palm of your hand.
Here, take a look.
It's not. I mean, it's.
Is there any magical energies coming off of it? Can you find out?
You got rid of detect magic, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll a d20 anyway.
Oh, he got rid of detect.
He got rid of the spell detect magic, but we'll see what.
Oh.
10. You're just kind of feeling it out, but as far as you can tell, there's nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, the craftsmanship on the frog is fairly well done. It seemed to have been cared for pretty well. But no, you don't really sense any kind of magical entities from this. It's just a valuable trinket.
All right.
Far be it from me to make the final decision on this, because I am not as schooled in the world as you are, Crow. But my feeling is that perhaps if we held on to it for a better opportunity, we would be better served than immediately dumping it on
A
the open
minus
market.
trade. Olivius, you're learning very quickly. Almost ready for graduation. Sir, I would like to thank you for your time. As a matter of fact, I flick a silver piece over there just as a courtesy.
And it falls on the floor, and he just kind of looks at it because he's behind in a cage.
I pick it up and I put it on the thing, and I'm like, sorry, I thought that would look nicer.
I mean, guy, make me an offer. What do you want for it?
Nothing now. We're good, thank you.
Just a number. Just say yes or I can say yes or no to it.
The number is we're not interested now. Thank you so much for your time, and we will talk soon.
All right, 40 gold pieces.
40 gold pieces is an excellent offer. Unfortunately, we have somewhere we need to be. Thank you for your time, and we will see you again.
All right.
Good day, sir.
Don't know where you're
Good
going to
day,
get.
sir.
I mean, good luck. If you can find somewhere that's going to give you more than 40 for that, best of luck to you.
All right. So we hold on to it. And Olivius, I'll hold on to it. Just for safekeeping. Don't worry, I know I have a certain air about me, but I have no intention of selling it under your nose.
I hand the frog back to him.
My cloak.
Into your bag of holding.
It's like my well, I got like a little pocket
Yeah.
there, so if I'm searched, you can't really like. You're kind of like, I don't see anything.
No, okay.
So we continue walking. Did you want to go try to talk to Sister Garel while me and our new companion maybe go down the road to the sleeping giant?
That would be exactly my suggestion.
So what do you want to do, Mike? Which one do you want to? Do you want to do it? Do you want to pause here? Or like, what's your?
Yeah, let's pause here.
All right, let's pause here.
It's a good place to pause.
Okay. So that's the end of tonight. We made quite a bit of progress. We got John in on the game, which will be a lot of fun. I want to try to get more people in because I just think that'd be fun. And I think for me, what would be kind of cool is if you could just like instead of just making a character, and I think having John as a character is gonna be awesome. But like if we just wanted to have people jump in just to be a character or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That
Like
you
random
don't really
characters.
like the only thing you can you just give them what the character is and what they're supposed to like, kind of like the demeanor, and they don't have to be like super important to the plot unless you decide, but like something just so that way we just have some kind of fun.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. And hopefully on what is it, the next Friday we'll continue on with this. Maybe do a Jack's Night. We'll see how everyone's feeling. And on Monday, Dark Souls again.
Yeah.
So we're going to do Dark Souls on Monday. And then Tuesday, did you guys want to continue Dungeon of the Endless?
Tuesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday, sorry.
Sure, we can continue Dungeon.
Okay.
The Endless on Wednesday.
I'm thinking, well, what is Wednesday? Wednesday's the 4th?
Is Wednesday? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wednesday's the 4th. So we might do something else for the 4th, actually, because it is 4th of July, and I think that might actually be kind of fun. So I'll figure something else out for that. So maybe not Dungeon of the Endless, but just something.
Are there any like Independence Day games?
There are, and they're fucking terrible.
Well, I mean, maybe more just like not
The one on
not
PlayStation's horrible.
Not Independence Day the movie games, but just like games that run the theme of patriotism and
So we can find. let's see what we come up with. I think that might be fun.
When did we play Duke Nukem?
Oh man, yeah, that was like what? That was probably like our 8th stream. Like it was a really long time ago.
I remember doing that, and we had just played like. I remember it being as bad as I remember, but we could play like the original Duke Nukem or something. I don't know.
The only problem with the original Duke Nukem is the level layout is the 90s map maker layout where you're supposed to go through the secret hole or whatever, but you didn't know it was there, and you're wandering around for like hours.
Just wandering around the walls, hitting E over and
yeah,
over
it's
and
that
over.
kind of thing. So we'll see. We'll come up with something. I'll look into it, see what we come up with.
Okay.
John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
And Nick, thanks for coming out, hanging out with us, doing some
Thanks.
more D&D. Mike, awesome DMing, making this thing work and just awesome in general. I'm loving this. I'm loving the setup with the map and everything.
The map is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I drew it myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mike drew it. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say other than let me just Venture Thursday. So on Thursday, starting next Thursday, I'm gonna do Adventure Game Night, and I'll start with the first Tex Murphy game. And as I progress through it and maybe even beat it, I want to see if I can get Captain Cleveland involved, because there's some adventure games that he and I have been talking about, like Shivers 1, which is a game that me and him can reminisce about because it's the game we both had as a kid. And it's it's just a straight-up first-person puzzle game with really funky soundtrack. And it's kind of cool. It also kind of jank, so it'd be kind of fun to play that. Outside of that, I really don't have much else to say other than thanks for watching. And if you want to go ahead and have the button ready to go on that, stand by. And we'll see you guys again on the next Courtesy Flush. Thank you and take care.